Hello. So this is my video on cultural studies in Heart of Darkness. All right, so uh, here we go, right into the Congo. All right, so my main points for the video are going to be abolitionism, anti-colonialism, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I'm going to move right into abolitionism. Okay, so it's debated in this book that, or not in this book, but about this book, whether the book is in favor or against abolition. And I think that it's in favor of abolition due to a few important passages and a general theme of realizing that the natives of the Congo that Kurtz is killing and mistreating and are generally obviously more human than white Europeans seem to believe in the beginning, as shown by when Marlowe first sees the natives, he describes them as not inhuman, showing that the white Europeans think of them before they get to see them, the natives, as inhuman, barbaric kind of people. But once they start to see them, they realize that they're really not that different, and then they realize that slavery really is that bad because you're not just doing this to inhuman creatures. You're doing this to real human people with real human emotions. And so I think it is in support of abolition, even if Conrad didn't mean it as such. And my next topic is anti-colonialism. So colonialism has pretty much almost always been bad, negative to the natives. I mean, you could argue that maybe Indian colonialism wasn't as bad as it has some positives. And, in Nigeria, it set some political things up, but it really is negative in almost all cases, and especially to the natives at that time. So in this book, the natives are tricked with little tricks. Like in one part of the book, one native is taught that the boiler on this ship is you have to keep it filled with water because if you don't, an evil spirit will get too thirsty and come at you. And so these people are treated. Kurtz even sticks some of their heads on spikes, and he kills a lot. And I mean, obviously, he knows he treated them badly because in his final breath he says the horror, most likely thinking about what he had done in his life. And my last point is about Kurtz. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's a quote from Lord Acton, who's a baron and historian from a long time ago, which fits perfectly with the cultural studies and ideology. And so this idea of absolute power corrupting absolutely is perfect for this book because Kurtz, it seems to have been a pretty good man before he went off to the Congo. As I mean, she's not the best source, but his wife obviously was she really loved him and thought he was a fantastic man, and could not believe that he was a terrible man when Marlowe goes to see her at the end of the book. So he seems to have been at least a serviceable, nice-ish man. But then once he goes to the Congo, he finds that he can manipulate the natives. He can use their labor for basically nothing. He can entertain them with trivial things and get back hard labor or more valuable products and trick them basically. And so he sees that opportunity and he eventually takes it, and he loses his civility. He doesn't treat people well anymore, and then by the end, when he dies of his illness, he thinks, what have I done? The horror, the horror. And so this absolute power over the natives drove him to absolute corruption. And that's the basics behind that quote. And through all three of these topics, you can see that whether he means it or not, Conrad gives examples of anti-colonialism, slavery, and corruption, and shows how bad that these things are, all three of them, and that we should strive to make sure that these things don't happen again. And that's the basics behind cultural studies. Well, thanks for watching.